buddy. All right, I heard ya. Alrighty. Morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, you guys came back. Thanks. You guys are so sweet. I'm gonna adjust this camera here in a sec. The doggos are outside, going potty. I did. It was a good night's sleep. I don't think I snore or anything, do I? I know Zuma snores. I don't know, I was coughing. My allergies were bothering me half the night. I wanted to make it fair for everybody who's wanting to be part of the song request thing. So I wanted to start a new one. And but it's the same anyway. There was 10 people in here before I started over, and there's just that many people here. You don't think I sleep? Oh, snore. I was gonna say, I definitely sleep. I don't think I snore either. Which is a good thing, right? Because there's some people, they just sound like they're sawing at a log when they're snoring. And you can't stand it. Let me put the microphone on mute here. I'm gonna move around a little bit of this furniture. And then I'll get the doggos inside. Yeah. Yeah. That was my nephew. He called me at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no way, dude. Get out of here with that. Cosmo! Cosmo's back. And it took no time at all. Only 2 messages, maybe 3. Just got that #1 spot real quick. Jeez, Cosmo. They like you. The YouTube likes you. Oh, for a moment there, you got the #1 spot. Yeah, while I was watching, it showed me for a moment there. It popped you in #1. Your third message in, it gave you the #1 spot, and then it put you back to #2. I was talking to Rare Wolf yesterday, and he said that his wife subscribed to my channel, and she likes watching the dogs while I'm asleep, right before she goes to sleep. I was like, sweet. Zuma, she got another one. Zuma swallowed another soul. Yeah, he did. He did. He swallowed another soul. You got Mrs. Rare Wolf to watch you. He was telling me how he's jealous that his content takes so much work, and I could just go to sleep and just get some. What's up, Amelia? How's it going? Thank you, thank you. Thanks for coming into the chat and saying something. I'm gonna go to your channel right now and subscribe to you. Just for chatting in the chat. Thank you. You now have 24 subscribers. You're almost halfway there. Just watch your ear holes. The coffee machine's going off. A sparrow. Something has irreversible. See? See? Amelia took that 2 spot. Get it, Amelia. Get it. At noon, Whoever's in the number one spot gets to choose a song and I'll play it for you. So 1 hour into the live stream, if you're number one, we'll pick a song. If you're tied for first place, we'll roll a dice. Yes, yes, escribio en inglés. Por favor. Escribies? Escribies? Tu escribia en inglés. Por favor. So the way you rank up in the XP for those crowns is chatting and view time. If I was able to get gifts, you could also move up in the ranks by giving gifts. But I can't get gifts yet. I got the dogs on the couch with the live stream. You see the cameras can see all people chatting.
Am I allowed to put my hand in there?
No.
But I want to pet Suma.
Well, then you have to call her over.
Suma, 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 Suma.
Okay. You just gotta call him off camera. Because you're not old enough to be on YouTube camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make you some ramen.
Okay. I always wear my watch. I found it right here.
I'll get it.
My mom always listens. I always, when I was 3 years old, I went to Target and then asked I will take it to watch and they asked for it every day and still didn't buy it.
Oh.
That's what I wanted.
So what happened? Did you get it?
No, she didn't buy it.
Oh. Maybe it's because you already have a watch.
Yeah, I do, but this one is kind of funny. This one is kind of funny. See, like, it only just lights up one by one.
Oh, so that's boring?
That's why it's kind of white.
Oh, that's why it's kind of lame.
Now that's the only thing it's white.
Oh. Well, kid, he needs a new watch because his only lights up one by one, and it's kind of lame. He really said. Yeah, it always starts with a hand. Exactly. He's like, "Can I put my hand on there? I just want to pet Zuma." And I'm like, "No, why don't you just call her over to you and then pet her like that?" Zuma, you sitting like a people? Are you trying to go outside and sunbathe? It's too hot out there, girlie. It's like 90 degrees outside today. And humid, too. Come on, I need my hands, Annie. Would you stop it? Go get your hedgehog. Go. She's over here bumping my hand. I'm trying to read the chats and scroll back, see what I missed, and she keeps bumping me. View time doesn't count? Really? That's odd. That's strange, and I could have sworn it counted. So even if you're watching from the beginning for like 10 hours, and you only say one chat, somebody else will be ahead of you. That's silly. Oh, I just can't understand it. Sometimes I can understand it. And I told YouTube that my main language is English, so I don't know why it doesn't automatically translate those things, and also why it doesn't hold those things. If I tell YouTube that my main spoken language is English, they shouldn't allow any other language to come through without approval. It's just silly. What do we want? We want. We want. Hmm? What? Oh, is Eddie doing some ear cleaning? I think Aaron understands quite a bit of languages. She's so weird. It's like 1,000 degrees outside. How could she want to be outside? Yeah, 84 degrees outside and humid. Feels like 90. And Zuma wants to be outside. She's so weird. Yeah, that's smart. Come on, get your booty inside. Come on. Come on, it's hot out there. It's too hot out there to be running the windows open. Beautiful, beautiful coffee time. Oh, yeah. Taking off, Amelia? Okay, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Are you asking because you don't know? Or you're asking to just to see if Heron knows? Because if you don't know what it means, you probably shouldn't say it. One of my high school teachers got in trouble for saying things he didn't understand. He was repeating these kids who kept calling each other, how do I put it? In English, it translates to like a very flamboyant butterfly. It's like the exact translation, flamboyant butterfly. But the slang is meant to mean a very derogative word. And the teacher didn't know that the slang of what was being said was very derogative and racial. Well, not racial slur, but it is a slur. And he was saying it over and over and over, not realizing what it was until somebody complained about it and he got written up or something. What language? Now we know in Spanish, mariposa is the word for butterfly. Now the word this teacher was using was very close to mariposa, but it was a slang term for a slur. It's a slur that uneducated people use when they encounter gay people. It's usually referred to as a homophobic term. It can be referred to as a cigarette in some dictionaries or a bundle of sticks in some dictionaries. But either way, the teacher was saying this term in Spanish that roughly translated to this slur, and he got in trouble for it. and he eventually got fired for something similar. But he was a young teacher. He was in his late 20s. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The term he was using roughly translated in slang. Right. It roughly translated in slang to that slur that people use when they're homophobic. Like I said, a bundle of sticks. I'm going to refrain from saying it on here because it's not a word that I like to have come out of my mouth. But he was kind of silly. He was a science teacher, not a psychology teacher, not a Spanish teacher. So he really shouldn't have been trusting anything these teenagers said in front of him. Especially these kids that are fluent in Spanish and speaking to each other in Spanish. And I understand he just wanted to know and be part of it. Like, hey, it's cool. I want to be part of this crew. Oh no, he got his slap. He did. He got his slap. He got a warning from staff about saying, those kind of things. And then shortly after, like less than 2 or 3 years after, he got fired. Because he was using the N word, the racial slur, the hard N. And he was all, for shizzle my nizzle, my N words, N word, N word, N word. And it was like supposed to be like this fun, didn't mean anything by it, lighthearted way he was doing it. But he got fired for that because more than one student complained. I was just talking about one of my high school teachers, a science teacher, and how he used some terminology in Spanish that he didn't understand. And the word he was using directly translates to like a flamboyant butterfly, but its slang translates to a bundle of sticks. And so he was throwing that word around and eventually got reprimanded for it. And then, like a year later, got fired for throwing around the hard N in a lighthearted fashion. That teacher was weird anyway. He was dating one of the students. That was the other reason he got let go. He was dating one of his students from a couple years earlier. She had already graduated, but he was dating her anyway. Yeah, he was a young teacher. I don't know. He was. I guess you would probably think he was cute. He was like a nerdy guy. He didn't have any physical deformities that would cause him to not be cute. But he was a nerdy guy. And he was young. So he probably did come across as being cute to a bunch of people. But I'm a guy, and I'm not into guys, so. Mm. Well, some things people do, they shouldn't. And other things people do, they need to be more careful about who's watching. That's what it really comes down to. If you're not doing anything wrong, it shouldn't matter who's watching. And what that really comes down to, Cosmo, is the power imbalance between a teacher and a student. If the teacher's power is taking advantage of the student, then it becomes a problem. Yeah, that was a mistype. There should have been an I instead of a U. But you guys aren't in America, right? So, hey, he's back. USA God is back. Hello. Is this Tyler? Is this the one I'm remembering as Tyler? Because somebody asked me if I remember what their name was yesterday, and it ended up being Jackson. But I thought that their name was Tyler because I could sworn somebody came in and told me their name was Tyler. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's where my brain is pulling that name from. I don't know. My brain though is like somebody told me their name was Tyler. Her brother's name's not Tyler, it's Batman. Okay? Lydia was behind camera, laying by the door, and is over here bothering me for pets. There she is. Oh, she's gonna hide in the only corner on the couch that can't be seen. She's like, I'll poke my little head up, but I'ma hide. Good news or bad news? Let's have them both, but let's get the bad news first so we can end on a good note. Yeah, let's do both. But let's hear the bad news first. You want a hug?
Yeah.
I think you're Robinson.
Yeah.
We'll see if it sucks up all the water it's supposed to. Looks like it did that trick.
Giant plate.
You want to eat it right out of the bowl.
What is this? I just see on my plate.
There's no soup down there. You just didn't eat all of it.
Yes, I did.
You ate in your room?
Yeah, and I wanted to eat.
How about Capri Sun?
It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
See that. I'll help you with your eating it. Yeah?
If you see my look on the floor, just yell. Yell to me if you see her.
Okay.
If you see it in the hallway when I walk out.
Okay.
Or on my bed.
Or on the bed. Okay.
You have to come right immediately.
Oh, cool. So you cut your finger. I hope you're okay.
You have to come immediately if it goes on my bed.
Okay.
If I call your name, come immediately.
Okay. You hear that, guys? If he calls my name, I have to come
Got it?
immediately. I got it.
Yeah.
Lurking and jerking. Um, I mean, I guess the phraseology is. Yeah, what's the good news? We hope you're okay because you cut your hand, and I've cut my hand more times than I care to count. I've had to get stitches before. We picked his name because it's strong. It's one of those strong names that when you hear it or when you say it, it feels like it belongs. So we chose his name so that he could be taken seriously as he grows up. So it's a strong name, and it doesn't imply that his parents are morons. And it isn't going to make people think of him like a joke. You know how some parents name their kids ridiculous names, and then you're like, what's wrong with those parents? And then their kid is a running joke their entire life. Don't be that parent. Please don't put your kid through that torture and make them a running joke because you named them something clever. Like, kids just want to blend in. It's not fair to name your kid something funny. Ouch. You get to destroy a camper? That's cool. We almost named him Whiskey. That would have been my second choice. And so that would have been, it would have been interesting. People probably would have thought that I was drunk. No, Ember was going to be the middle name. He would have been named Whiskey Ember had he been female. At least that's the name that I would have fought for. Yeah, but at least it's not clever like E equals MC squared, but it doesn't actually look like E equals MC squared. It just sounds that way. Occasionally I play Minecraft. Having the time to be able to do it, though, is the challenge. Minecraft takes a lot of time. It's just very time consuming. So the good news is you get to destroy a camper. What kind of tools of destruction are you using for the camper? Sledgehammer, regular hammer, chainsaw, baseball bat? What are we getting into when we destroy this camper? I'm totally about destroying stuff in order to release anger. I feel like it's very therapeutic. If you can destroy things in a safe manner and things that don't need to be used, Or toilet. We were joking with my son. We were calling him, well, Dana was calling him 2-ply because I was calling him a little turd. And I was like, there's no way he can be 2-ply. He's got to be 4-ply because he costs us too much money to be 2-ply. No, you called him 2-ply. You called him 2-ply, and I said that's not an appropriate name for him because he costs us more than 2-ply. He's definitely 4-ply type. He ain't no cheap TP. Oh, I thought it was because he was a turd. It was because he was stuck up your butt. Like lingering TP. Definitely would have been 4-ply then, right? They don't make 100-ply. 100-ply would be 1 sheet per roll. The type that pokes through. I got met with a basic name that everybody and their mother's son got named. When I was growing up, in my 5th grade class, and there was more than one 5th grade class, right? They'd break you up into groups of 20 or 25, and then you each be with a different teacher throughout the day. In my 5th grade class, there was 4 Christophers. 4 of them. And that was just in my 25 group kids. Just in my group of 25, there was 4 Christophers. So my name was very generic. And there were so many Christophers that they had to use our last name as an indicator. And even that didn't work because there was more than one of us with the same first 3 letters in our last name. So we ended up being identified as our first name and then the first 3 letters of our last name. Yeah, there was always a lot of Christophers growing up. Oh, Amelia and Aaron are tied for first place. Cody 1, Cody 2, Cody 3. No? Simple.
I don't know. I think having a very original name makes you stand out. But I think the issue that you had with your name is it was people would mispronounce it on the regular. Where I only had that issue with my last name. You probably only had that issue with your first name. Yeah. If you look at the crown system, Space Nut has 3 points, Amelia has 3 points, and Cosmo has 2 points. Yeah, people call you Jordan all the time. Mm-hmm. You have an Apple product, so you don't see them and you don't get them. But the system, yeah, she's on iPhone. The system rewards engaged viewers by giving them a crown of rewarded XP. And what I've been doing is by the time noon comes around, by the time we're 1 hour into the stream, whoever is number one with the reward system of the crowns, which it rewards you for engagement, then that person will be able to pick a song that I'll play. Because you're not a peasant. It's not lame. It's interesting. The algorithm's a little bit busted still. I think they need to make the increments between XP a lot smaller. 25 points is interesting enough and it makes it seem like it goes up, but. Oh no! She's number 3 though, Cosmo. You gotta jump up. There's still time. We got another 15 minutes before it's time to call the winner. And who knows, maybe it'll be transferred to you. Like yesterday. Zuma. Mama says you're smelly. She don't care. Mama said you're a stinky butt. Just like, yeah, whatever. No shit's given. Let's see if I can include Annie in some of this picture here. She's hiding off in the corner there. They squeeze a lot into the androids. I'm impressed. I wish they would just keep squeezing more in and stop taking things out. The old Samsungs used to include an infrared sensor so that you can use it for your TV devices, your VCR, your DVD player. You just download the appropriate IR remote, and then it had the hardware there. Later, Dana. Stinky Butt Zoo. So you're all in on the know. When do you think they'll roll out this engagement system for iPhone? Not too hard. You don't need to work. If you look at the top fans, as they call them, you're only 1 point behind Amelia. And Amelia and Aaron are tied for first. And I say 1 point because 1 point is 25 XP. So the people at the top right now only have 3 points or 75 XP because it goes in increments of 25. I think it should go in increments of 5 so that the gap can be much larger between the people who are chatting. And it would create more of a, you can see yourself climbing the leaderboard. Right, but so the Galaxy S6 Plus had the IR thing in it, and the Galaxy S8 didn't anymore. And I was kind of disappointed about it because I used the IR remote for a lot of my devices. It made it easy. But that's just one example of what Samsung and Android keep doing. They'll give you a feature or a hardware in one model, and then the next year's model won't have that feature or hardware. It'll have something completely different that you'll have to relearn. That's true. Yeah, I guess nowadays there's apps out there that'll let you control your TV and your other things like that. It's just there was a point in time in my life where I had a remote for every single device. So you'd have one for the TV, you've got one for the DVD player, you've got one for the receiver, you've got one for the sound system. And my old phone just did them all. And then somebody hacked it via the Line app. Like they just overwhelmed my phone with a bunch of prompts, and then it crashed, and I had to get a new phone. Alexandria, hello, hello, hello. Hi, Alexandria. How are you? I hope you're having an awesome, wonderful day. I hope everybody's making Monday their bitch, because we know Monday is the least favorite of our days. But it doesn't have to be. Monday can be our favorite day. Monday has always been for me a day of planning. You situate what's going on for the rest of the week on Mondays. Speaking of, I should probably have checked my calendar. And I can delete that one because that never ended up happening. Now, you want to sunbathe too? It's hot out there, girly. I'm telling you, you're going to want to come back in within 10 minutes. Oh, you want to sunbathe too? Go ahead. Looks like it's just me and you, Ladybug. The other ladies want to sunbathe. They're trying to get rid of those tan lines, aren't they? Yeah. Silly girls. Ten more minutes on this contest. We might have to roll a dice here. And I think Amelia's AFK. I think she's taken off. Oh, shit. Alexandra's already got 2 points. She's coming up quick, Cosmo. Creeping up quick from that 4th place. Just watch your ear holes, guys. When that Keurig decides to finish making that cup of coffee, it kind of spits it out in like a spraying manner, and it's loud. Make your move on the ground. But you're gonna have to. In the next 7 minutes, if you don't get a point, you won't be tied for the 1st place. And we'll have to make sure, we'll have to rely on Aaron being generous again.
It is now officially noon.
It is now officially the afternoon. Let's check on who has won the engagement. Oh, it looks like Aaron's still in the first place according to the computer. Cosmo had it at noon. What, like 3 seconds ago? Oh, yeah, it looks like it was close too. You come a long way in the last 10 minutes there, Cosmo. Jeez, a whole 3 points in the last 10 minutes. Be nice. Be nice. We don't hate each other. Not sure spam counts. I don't know either. No idea. Number three. Ah. That's okay, Alexandria. If I spoke another language, then I would help you. Ah, I see it. Yep, Cosmo was number 1 for 3 or 4 comments there. And then Space Not took it back in like 1 comment. Yeah, for a quick moment there, she had it. So, when the alarm went off, Cosmo had it when the alarm went off? And she must have been tied with you, though. Should we roll a dice, flip a coin? She must have been tied with you. You guys are all done sunbathing? That's nice. So why don't we flip a coin then? We'll get one of these fun coins out here. We'll flip a coin. We'll try to make it fair. Because you had to be tied. And that's the one thing I don't like about this XP thing. It just determines what place you're in. All on its own. It doesn't care. So which coin should we flip here? We've got a coin from P.A.W. Okay, we got the angel side. Or not P.A.W. Was it P.A.W? Yeah, I think it was P.A.W. Angel side, devil side. Okay, we flip that coin. Or we can flip my Space Jam coin. My retro classic Space Jam coin. Which is cool. How many of you guys have seen that one? You guys seen this coin? I know it's kind of dirty because it's been hanging around, but... Space Jam. Yeah. We should flip that one? They've got different weights to them, too. Like, this one's like an aluminum, and this one's like a steel. So... Let's put something somewhere so we can see our coin flip. How's that? Is that on camera? Can we see that coin flip? It's going to be hard to see the Space Jam one from here. But let's flip it. Here we go. Oh, wait. You got to call it. You got to call your side. I'm going to flip a coin here without calling sides. Who wants heads? She does look confused. Heads. All right. Space Nut's got heads. Cosmo's got tails. So this is the head because it's got Michael Jordan on it. And this is the tails. Because it's got the Monstars. Here we go. And we're looking at it. Tails. Looks like Cosmo won. Cosmo won the coin flip. All right. So that's that then. Look at that. You got lucky. Got lucky again. The other day he gave it away to you. Today you won the coin flip. So there it is. You get to make a song selection and we'll play it for you, and I'll shut my giant trap while it plays. We can get this out of camera view now. So I have something to sit on. So if you already know what song you want to play, we'll play it. If you want to think about it for a bit, we've got another, 50 minutes to decide.
Can I look at something from up here?
1 a.m. by CIV. All right.
Can I look and have something from up here?
Like Jello?
Yeah.
Did you finish your ramen?
No? Okay.
Not yet. Well, why don't we wait till you finish with your ramen so that we can bring those silverware pieces in here? A fork and this bowl before we start bringing more stuff in your room.
I wanted the soup that was in there.
I know, but I already poured most of the soup out. The soup that's left should be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you have to let it sip it. The soup makes the ramen really, really hot because the soup holds all the heat in it. It holds that temperature better than the ramen does. So I poured a bunch of it out so you wouldn't burn your lips. And what happens if the hot water spills on you? Then you got burns all over you. And burns hurt. So I didn't want you to get hurt. But yeah, there's plenty of strawberries. So yeah, do we have any Lunchables left? Oh, yeah. Those, just toss them. When you see ones like that where they've got those spots on them, throw them away. That one right there you just picked up, put back, throw that one away. And animals like to eat those. So if you want to throw them out in the dog pen, you can. Maybe we'll grow some strawberries over there. It's not going to hurt you to touch it. There you go. Maybe we'll grow some strawberries out there. Yeah, let's not leave that door open too long because it's hot outside. You got baseball again today. So it's going to be a hot day. No jewelry or watches while you're playing baseball, though. Look here. Look. See the camera angle?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you'd be able to get this guy because he's not on camera.
It's Bam Bam. I'm watching a Bam Bam
Yeah.
too.
I just want you, when you see Daddy's ET or tripod, look, hey. Hang on. When you see Daddy's tripod looking like this with ET, where he's got this one arm out, there's a good chance that I'm live streaming. So just pay attention to what the camera is doing. Okay? And then you don't want to be on camera. Thank you. Can I swap? Swap. You can. We haven't started playing it yet. Usually when I start playing the song at this point, I'll go AFK for a moment so that you guys can hear the song, and then once I have to have it scrubbed, it's not going to make the audio to my voice all weird. Blue by Young Kai. Yes, I think we can manage that one. I will.
Camera on. Ready to pair.
Ready to pair. Okay.
Phone connected. Camera on. Ready to pair.
Well, Last call. Last chance to change your mind. That's the one you want? And let me know when I start playing it whether or not it's loud enough. 1 in the chat for it to go up, 2 in the chat for it to go down. What's up, Thomas? No, Aaron never gets a break. There's no breaks for the wicked. Come on now. Okie dokie. Confirmed. That's the song we want. We're going to do Blue by Young Kai. All right. Let me know if it needs to go up.
The ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running.
How's that volume? There it is. That's the one.
Phone is disconnected.
That was Blue by Kai, as requested by Cosmo. That was a really cute song, Cosmo. That was a really cute song. Some country song. That's how we got to refer to him to. Some country song. I don't know. By one of those guys that does that thing where he sings and strums a guitar, talks about how he drinks his truck. And what else? What else? Drinking, trucks, and what's that other thing that country singers like to do? It's by The Devil Makes Three. I'm familiar with that name. I've heard of that name before. Oh, Zoo. I'm so damn cute. Ladybug's hiding on the floor over here behind me. Being a little turd. Yeah. The song didn't have any vulgar words in it. It was a very peaceful, melodic beat. The vocals were very soothing. It was a very harmonic song. I thought it was a cute one. It reminded me of like sitting on a porch, beachfront, and swinging on one of those rocker chairs. Not a rocking chair, but like one of those glider chairs. If you know what I'm talking about, where the bottom stays on the floor and then there's this like pivot point on the four corners and it glides kind of back and forth. They call them gliders. It's like a rocking chair that just kind of rocks a little bit, not a lot. But yeah, that's what that song made me feel like. It made me feel like I was sitting on a porch, beachfront, just looking out at the ocean, sitting on a glider, just kind of rocking back and forth, enjoying maybe a cup of coffee or a cigarette. It was a peaceful song. I liked it. And then I literally liked it. I hit the thumbs up on that one. So I liked it and I literally liked it. Metaphorically and literally. And then digitally. Yeah, it was cute. It was a very pretty song. I can't say that I really listened to the lyrics. So I was only really listening to the melody and the way that the lyrics harmonized with the melody. But it sounded like a very nice song. Judging by the title, there's a chance that the lyrics were about being sad. But the song sounded very sweet. Like the vibe the song gave me would be like when you're talking about a relative who's no longer with us and you're talking about the good times that you had with that relative. You know, reminiscing about the good times, but sad because there can no longer be new good times made. That's the kind of vibe I got from that song. Like we're talking about happy stuff, but we're sad that the happy stuff can't be more. So I'll have to look into that now that I hit the like button on it and actually look at the lyrics, because I'm into the lyrics of songs. You know, even if the melody is great, if the lyrics are trash, then like the song is basically trash. You know, if the lyrics are terrible, it's just something you listen to in the background. You don't actually listen to it. The song titles make me seem like make me think that this Kai person has got a lot of sad music. Although that title sounds hopeful. Like there's some hope in the sadness. There's supposed to be thunderstorms after too. How is he supposed to have baseball practice if he's going to have thunderstorms? Oh yeah, I heard about that yesterday. Did you guys hear about what's happening in Texas? I probably should have mentioned it to you guys first if you didn't hear it, but it wouldn't surprise me if you heard it before I mentioned it. Like I said, I don't really pay attention to the news, but when you watch people from your country, you tend to you hear about your local stuff. So, did you guys hear about what happened in Texas? If you've already heard about it, I don't want to bring it up, but yeah, yeah. So, without getting into too much detail, there was a flood in Texas, which apparently is strange. I live in Maine, which is thousands of miles away from Texas. Texas is in the middle of the country. I'm in the northeastern section of the country. So I'm all the way top, all the way right. if you're looking at it on the globe, and Texas is right in the middle. So we're very far from each other. We're on different sides of the, what is that, the Rocky Mountains there. Anyway, what I have heard from the story is that there was a big flood, and there was a bunch of people who passed away as a result of this chaos. And I'm only bringing it up because I went to the news, the weather thing, right? I had this little widget on my phone, and I clicked the widget for the weather, and it's giving me the forecast. But then also under the forecast, it shows me this section called breaking news. And it says survivors describe absolute chaos in Texas floods. So I don't know much about why they have had flooding. I heard a number like 93. 93 individuals who aren't with us anymore. So, you know, if you pray, do some praying for those people. And their families. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know the details. Like I said, I don't want to comment on it too much. I want to focus on, now that it's already happened, what do we do about it? We can't focus on, you know, coulda, woulda, shouldas, because it's not going to help anything. You know, you have to focus on, what can I do? What should I do? What will I do? And one of the only things that I'm capable of doing from where I live at my financial standpoint is to, you know, reach out for people to pray. So I hope that the families are, you know, strong enough to handle it. Because the loss of life is it's a sad thing. Not to make light of it, but trying to stay on the positive side here, right? If we're thinking about it, right, Texas folk are some tough people. I don't know if you guys ever met somebody from Texas. I've met a few people from Texas before, and they seem like some tough people. They're some rugged. They got some thick skin. So I think Texas will be all right. But either way, we want to keep them in our hearts. There's always ways that we could have prevented disaster. You know, hindsight is 2020. I'm not either. I'm not either, Aaron. So I said, if you do, there are a bunch of people still missing. If you do pray, I know some of you out there do. You know, just put in a few words for these people and their families. What I will say about praying is every time that I ever have, it's worked out for me. So my mother would tell me growing up, when I lost something, you know, you lose a toy or a special item or gadget, or for me, it's always been something very sentimental that I've misplaced and I needed to find. And I was getting kind of upset about it. And so my mom would say, pray to St. Anthony. He's the patron saint of lost children and lost things, and they're going to help you. He'll help you find it. You just pray to St. Anthony. And I thought it was silly. I was like, well, that's silly. But you get to that point where desperation kicks in. And you're like, I will try anything, anything it takes that might help me find this item of mine that I'm so sentimentally attached to. I'll try it. So screw it. I'll try praying. And I did. And I kid you not, every time that I have done that, I have found that item within the next 15 minutes. Kid you not. And I'm not a religious person. I don't typically pray. But every time that I have prayed to St. Anthony, I have had my prayers answered. So there is some part of me that believes that prayers are real. And for those of you that believe the same, there are people out there who need our prayers. I also have a strong belief in there being a spiritual realm. And so my kind of my thoughts on a lot of this stuff are very conflicted. Right. See? See? Sometimes it isn't about whether or not the symbol comes from religion. Sometimes it's about the meaning behind the item. And there was one point where I got very interested in sigils because they're like that. It's a symbol that has a meaning behind it. And there was one that I became very fond of, and it was fire molds gold the way that adversity molds man. And I thought that was very, very good. So that's one hell of a phrase. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the idea behind some of these charms. You know, it's more of a mental thing, I think. You know, if you believe, then it is. That's all there is to it. You know, if you believe that the grass is blue, nobody can convince you otherwise. Even if you're delusional, you believe that. And I'm okay with that kind of belief system as long as you're not trying to convince me that my beliefs are wrong. You know what I mean? You know, I don't mind hanging out with people that believe things that are entirely different than me. Just as long as they aren't trying to make what I believe wrong. Live and let live. Be and let be. That's my motto when it comes to people's religion. And I feel the same way about, you know, people who are interested in same gender as them. You know, as long as you're not hitting on me, I don't give a crap who you like. I don't care who you like. As long as you know, I make it clear to you that I'm not interested, and then you make sure not to make me uncomfortable, then I have no problem with it. And it doesn't matter whether you're straight, bi, gay, or any kind of other queer on the spectrum. You know, if I say, hey, you're making me uncomfortable, and you keep doing that, I'm not going to want to be around you. It's just that simple. It's a respect thing. It has nothing to do with whether or not, you know, there's an attraction or not. She made you feel found? Yeah, that's so cute. Oh, you guys are so cute. You guys are so cute. I feel a similar way about Dana. More so that there was this spiraling chaos of unknown, always destined for my future. You know, I just didn't know where I would be next. And then I met Dana, and she offered stability to my life. I'm still working on routine. Routines are tough. Routines are tough. But she offered stability in my life. You know, somewhere where I wouldn't be worried about what's going to be happening tomorrow. And that's probably the one thing I've needed in my life for the longest time is this feeling of stability, feeling like I can take a chance doing things. Because if I fall down, I'm going to get caught. I'm going to have a support network. There's going to be somebody there. So that feeling of stability, it allows you to take chances in doing things like this YouTube thing. You know, this is a big chance, devoting a lot of time and effort into something like this, and I'm glad that it's working out the way that it is. But it was a big chance. And for me, the lack of stability in my life was just consistently and constantly scratching at the back of my head. And it really ruled what kind of decisions I was making for myself. You know, I was doing a lot of things that I didn't want to do and I didn't enjoy doing just because it allowed me to survive. Like working with, you know, in shitty conditions, doing shitty jobs for shitty employers. Like just because I wanted to make that buck so that I could put a roof over my head or eat. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to enjoy the work that you do. Old man groans. I reached over to grab my coffee and my whole body went, "What are you doing? You're too old to reach that far." My whole body went, "What are you doing? How could you possibly reach 2 feet in front of you without stretching first, you old mofo?" Anybody else's body feel like that sometimes? You'll reach for something and it's only like, 2 or 3 inches outside of your reach, but you extend that muscle or whatever and your body's like, "What are you doing? We should have been doing jumping jacks. We should have been stretching before this activity." We're having a real heart-to-heart in here, Cosmo. Serious stuff. I'm glad the missus found you, Aaron. Favorite retro, the PS2. Oh no, software update ready to install. The phone's trying to update. I don't know if it's going to kick me off stream. Let's see what it says about notifications. One sec, guys. Okay. See, the update will be installed. It's telling me the update will be installed automatically at 10 after 1. So that means we've got 29 minutes before it kicks us off. Do I want to feel old? Yeah. That makes me feel kind of old. Not really though. What makes me feel old is when people say that they're 21 years old and they were born after the year 2000. And I'm like, "What?" Like, yeah, I was born in 2003. I'm 21. Or I was born in 2004. I'm 21. I'm like, stop that. You stop that right now. Because I was born in the year 88. I'll be 37 this year. Oh no. First world problems, Cosmo. Seriously. If you had said, my girlfriend's got 4 fingers and she can eat her meal, and I've only got my thumbs and I can't, we might feel sorry for you. We are Miss Space now. We're having an amazing day. Aaron just shared with us a very sweet story about you, and you guys are such a cute couple. I'm glad you found each other. Cosmo's having first world problems. She's jealous her girlfriend can spin a pen, and she can't. You missed out on the ranking in order to get yourself a song played for you, but we played a very sweet one. Request by Cosmo there. Cosmo won the coin flip. It was a first place tie between Aaron and Cosmo, and she won the coin flip. She's still creeping up, trying to catch him in the system. I can see it. I can see it. It's only 1 point behind him, but every time she gets close enough to catch him, he goes 1 point up too. That's all it takes. That's all. If you weren't holding his hand, he would have got squished by that bus. That's how that works. You know, I need people to hold my hand sometimes. It's like, just let me close my eyes because the world is a terrifying place. Will you please guide me? Just take my hand and keep me safe while I close my eyes and try to hide from this terrible world for a moment. People need that once in a while. And you were there for him to be that person. You guys are such a cute couple. How long has it been since you guys been together? Practice makes perfect, Cosmo. With something like that, it's going to be muscle memory. The more you do it, the better. 2012, you got together. That's a decent time. 13 years. Yeah, 14 years in October. That's a decent amount of time. And I haven't seen you firsthand, but so far as what I've seen, you seem like you're a good match for each other, and you're a super cute couple. What people don't understand about long-term relationships is you start out loving each other for the differences, and then you find out that you have a hard time dealing with the differences, but you've created this bond, And now you have more in common than you have in different. So when they talk about married couples having like issues with each other, it's because you become familiar. It's easy to kind of forget how important people are when there's no time to miss them. When you're constantly around that person, it's easy to get upset and frustrated at the stupid little things. But you got to remind yourself, is this important? Is this more important than why I love this person? Uh, that's how it works. That's how it works. You know, when you're doing time and your time is up, you're a free man. But when you get married, it's till death do you part. So, I mean, I guess some people have tried to expedite that. They'll take option B. And then they'll let the judge decide how much time they have to suffer. Let's see. 5, 6 years? Long enough to say it's been more than a short time. But short enough to say that we're nowhere near at your level. You know, my kiddo got upset yesterday too. We had family game night. And so one of the games that we played at the end of the night was Connect 4. And he tried to tell me that I couldn't win diagonally. And I'm like, yes, I can, because I won like 3 or 4 games in a row diagonally. I'm not the kind of dad that's going to let my kiddo win. I will help him win. Absolutely. I'll tell him what he doesn't see. You know, I'll walk him through it, which is what we ended up doing. But he got really upset because the first couple games I was just womping on him. And, you know, not because I don't care or anything. I don't think, oh, apparently we cut out. Yeah, I don't think an easy win is something you should do for your kids. I think winning takes effort and work and practice. And nobody should get participation trophies. But I'm pretty damn good at Connect 4. You know, I'm pretty good at chess too. I'm not the best at either one. I would never claim to be the best, but I can see a few moves ahead. You know, I was able to tell that I won a game, 6 or 7 moves ahead. When Dana was like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just won. Anywhere you put your piece is going to cause me to win. Like, I've got it on lock. It's good. I won. And then 6 moves later, I won, But so I was womping on him in Connect 4, and, he got really upset, and he ran to his room, and he cried there for a bit. I let him cry for a little bit, then I went over to his room, and I said, do you want to learn how to win? I will teach you how to win. It takes practice. And so he came back out, and we played 2 or 3 more games, and he won 2 of them. With my help, of course. I was teaching him, oop, don't go there, because if you go there, then Daddy's going to win. Something like that. And then he played a game with Dana, and Dana kicked his butt because he beat me, and she challenged him. And then I taught him how to beat Dana because he said rematch. So he had a rematch with Dana, and he won that game. And then I versed Dana, and I beat her 3 games in a row, and then she won a game. So Connect 4 is one of those games where it's, one more turn. If I had gotten one more turn, I would have won. You know what I mean? If I had gone first, I would have won. I'm never playing chess with... Nice. It's one of his special interests, huh? Chess. Yep. So your kid's probably one of those as kids that can play chess on the multiple tier chess boards. I've always wanted to learn how to play on those multiple tier chess boards because they just look so damn cool. I never learned it though. And like I said earlier, unfortunately, the phone is going to automatically update at 10 after 1. And it is 12:52 right now so do the math on whatever that is for you guys. The next hour to approach us 10 after the hour. Yeah, I don't know anybody who knows how to play 3D chess. Otherwise, I would have asked somebody to teach me by now. The day goes fast when you're having fun. You are your own person. And if keeping secrets from your family helps you have a better relationship, then that's something that you and your family have to figure out eventually. Because in my experience, whenever you keep secrets, eventually secrets will come out, and then people get upset that they didn't know sooner. I could probably learn with a board and the internet, yeah. I'm a hands-on person, so I would need to buy one. And then what if I'm not interested in playing it? What if I don't like that kind of gameplay? Slay, baddie. I'm the kind of person where I want to try it, do it for myself, and then if I like it, I'll get my own. Like, I'll try a video game, and if I like the video game, I'll buy it for myself. That kind of thing. Mrs. Space Nut, I was totally and entirely wrong. That's not happening until this upcoming weekend. They must have gone to a birthday party or something. I saw them packing a day bag, which is usually the bag they take when they go on the little vacations that they take. And I just assumed that vacation was happening. And I was entirely wrong. And my assumption backfired on me. But they're going to be going this upcoming weekend. It's called 4D Jazz. Yeah, see? Sometimes we're just wrong. Mm. They will have a good time. They will. They're trying to convince me to go. But if they want me to go, then they're gonna have to. They don't want me to bring Zuma with me, just because of the extra stuff involved in having another life form with you. You know, you've got to make sure there's food, there's a walking schedule. You know, she's got the procedure with the chlorinated water, and her not being able to go in the pool means I can't go in the pool. She can't be left unattended. That's just the rules of the property. The other dogs would be staying home if I brought her, but I brought her last time, and Dana seems to think I wasn't able to be of a lot of assistance, and I wasn't able to enjoy myself. But really, it's a lot of people, and for me to do that for a long period throughout the day, like more than 12 hours at a time without her, would be tough for me. So I don't think I'll be going on the trip. If it was just like, an 8 or 12 hour thing, like a shift at work, it would be a different story. But a couple days in a row, it's been a long time since I spent a couple days in a row. Yeah, we both hate humans. And I don't necessarily like being in a public pool setting. So, having her allowed me to be distracted from all the whistleblowing and the kids don't run and, lifeguard crap and kids screaming. And I love kids, but at some point the screaming gets to you. And you're just like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Can this kid's birthday party end so that I can go home? I'm sick of hearing kids scream. Like, can we just do the piñata? Like, let's do cake, presents, and piñata so we can leave. Like, let's go. And then it's also in a different state. And the laws in that state are very different too. So I wouldn't be able to bring with me my personal protection. If you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. I wouldn't be able to keep my personal protection with me because the laws in that state are very, 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 very different. The filming laws in that state are also very, very different. It's a two-party consent state. So you need consent from both parties in order to film. Well, eventually birthday parties will come back. COVID freaked people out, but to be honest, I kind of enjoyed it. If it wasn't for the fact that I have genetic health stuff, I have stuff in my genetic history that could possibly have put me 6 feet under. If it wasn't for that, I think it would have been an ideal situation for me. People leaving each other alone, nobody's getting within my personal bubble. If it wasn't for the fact that I could have died from lung or heart issues if I had caught COVID, which I probably did, but I don't know. Because I did get sick at one point over the last 5 years, and I just spent 2 days in bed, sweated it out, and I was fine. Right, I was terrified of the suffering and the dying part, and I had people real close to me who did pass away. My son's grandfather, great grandfather, my son's great grandfather passed away right in the middle of some very serious personal stuff that we had going on. Hmm. Yeah, it was sad. I feel like some of those things, the world is overpopulated.
Lunch hour is officially over.
Lunch hour is officially over, ladies and gentlemen. If you are here for your lunch hour, it is time for you to go back to work. I appreciate you. I love you. You guys are awesome. We're gonna start winding down, I guess. I mean, if you can call it winding down. All these doggos are sleeping, so I mean, I guess we're already wound down. But the phone is going to do an automatic update in 9 minutes, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna kick me off the live stream. But yeah, we. I think the world is a little bit overpopulated, and it's not great for the world, and it's eventually gonna come to. It's gonna be the demise. Nature will eventually win. Nature will always win. The streets will always hit harder. You know, the phrase that goes, I hit the streets and the streets hit back. The streets always hit harder. Nature will always win. Nature will always prevail. That's the one thing we forget. We can fight nature all we want. But while we're not looking, nature's growing. While you're worried about whether or not you can spin a pen in between your fingers, your grass is currently growing. Nature will always win. Adaptation, genetic mutations, all this stuff with radiation that breaks down DNA. If we don't end up demolishing the whole world in some kind of nuclear war, nature will eventually find a way to come up with a disease like COVID, where only the strong ones end up being surviving. Because that was one of those, COVID's one of those diseases that attacked everybody on the outskirts of the age range. You know, anybody between like 16 and 35 was going to be okay. You know, their immune system was strong enough, they were going to be okay. But anybody under 16 or over 35 was at risk, like higher risk. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it's going to be. Either we're going to have a back and forth with the heads of government in a nuclear war where it will destroy all inhabitable land, making crops impossible to grow, and animals affected by radiation will be impossible to eat. Everything will need to be GMO in order for us to survive, and it'll be very hard to do so with irradiated land. Like, forget it. We're talking 100 or so, we're talking 2 or 3 generations before that land is inhabitable again. So if that happens across the globe, all over the place, there's going to be a lot of land that's not inhabitable, and a lot of people who are suffering from mutations in their DNA, not able to reproduce, reproduction going terribly wrong, people with extra limbs, extra noses, missing limbs, missing noses, you know, all kinds of weird stuff happening because of nuclear radiation. So if that doesn't completely wipe out our population and we're not able to bounce back, or a nuclear war lasts more than, 10 years, it's all downhill from the first bomb being dropped, and everybody knows it, but nobody wants to talk about it. Yep. The only way to increase ourself into the next evolution is to do it mentally and psychologically. There is no higher evolution for our species. We are the top of the food chain. We will not evolve anymore if we continue to use technology the way that we do to make ourselves easy targets. We're probably the easiest damn target in the world. There are beasts out there that can destroy us in one hit. But we're smart enough to make inventions which give us the upper hand. Eventually, we'll be back to the Wild Wild West. Yeah, eventually we'll be back to the Wild Wild West. We'll be trading things like real gold. Nobody will give a crap about this cotton-made money. Watermarks won't be a thing. You know, but that will be the aftermath of the apocalypse. Because if I had to guess, it will be a nuclear apocalypse. You know, the industrial age kind of ended, and trades are still important, but people are so engrossed in the internet age that the digital world has taken over almost all of the career areas. Like, if you're not a robot and you don't know how to build a robot, I'm pretty sure in 50 years you won't have a job. You've got to either be a robot or know how to build one or program one. If you're real good at programming, then you might have a job in 50 years. And then artificial intelligence. Like, if they make an artificial intelligence good enough, who's going to have a job at all? Why employ somebody when artificial intelligence can do their job? Exactly. If you want to be AI proof, you need to be part of the trades. Be a plumber, be an electrician, be a carpenter. These are not things that AI can do. I mean, AI can build houses. They have technology, and if you have enough money, you can get a robot to build your house. But robots don't wire houses up with electricity. Robots don't run plumbing. So if you want to guarantee your job, those are two very good options. Plumbing and electricians. All right, the phone's going to be updating soon. I want to make sure I send you guys off before it does that. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you coming out. And once the phone is done updating, I have to get on with my day. So we will see you either later tonight, in the evening, or same time, same place tomorrow. Excellent. Good job, Cosmo. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. I did subscribe to everybody who came in and chatted. So I've got you all. Everybody who was in here today, I subscribed to you. That clock hasn't ticked over to 110 yet. The others have. I don't know what's up with that clock. That phone's doing something weird sometimes. Tick, 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 tick. Longest minute of my life. I'm wondering if it's just going to do it on its own. I think it's going to, but it still hasn't ticked over to 110. I think this particular clock is 1 minute behind. Oh, it ticked over. Software update ready to install. All right, bye.